Hello guys and welcome. I have been away for a little bit because the microphone in my headset broke, which is probably a good thing because it was really bad at picking up voice. I ended up being very quiet in my videos. I didn't like it at all. So, and also a few other things I've been going on in my life. So I've been away for about 4 months, but I'm back. And as I promised in the last video, I am going to show you how to make a basic mana farm in Gemcraft Labyrinth. Now I've entered in, I forget which field this is. I don't know, does it say somewhere? Nope. Anyways, some field, I4 or G4, something like that. And yeah, I've gone through and already played for about a couple of minutes just to set myself up to the point where is just before where I get a mana farm going. So, what is a mana farm? Well, it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a setup of not a tower, sorry. It's a setup of amplifiers and a trap or a few traps if you want, whereby you have gems inside them with at least the orange component, so they hit monsters that roll over them, and as a result you get mana. A constant stream is preferable too. Now, personally what I do is I mix lime and orange together to make my main gem that I will put inside my trap. I place the mana farm or the trap as close as I can to the entrance that is furthest away from the gem that usually attacks all the monsters. That is, so if there is a constant wave of monsters coming and the gem can overwhelm them, then at least the gem will probably keep on focusing fire on the area where monsters are spawning closest. Now with this mana farm, it's very incomplete at the moment, and what I'll do is, let's see, I'll go, done this many times, but it's been a while since I've played this game, so please bear with me. Let's see, there we go. Now, in the previous game of Gemcraft Chapter 0, what people did was what I did and a lot of other people did, due to the nature of the game, what you would do is you would lay down a stack load of traps all along the path where the monsters go, and you would fill them up with, first it would be orange gems, and then once you got enough mana flowing into your whatever this is, your mana bar, then you would start to afford more expensive gems, which were probably combined with red. So in traps, what they would do is they would not only just shoot at enemies and give you mana, but it would shoot at multiple enemies, giving you multiple amounts of mana. And this is basically the same principle, except with the dynamics of this particular version of Gemcraft Labyrinth, you don't need to place a whole bunch of traps everywhere. It's actually best if you just stick to one trap with one gem inside it, powered by 6 amplifiers. I find it works best. There is no reason to go for more traps and so forth. It works best like this, and as I will show you, this is the very basis of the mana farm. All of the mana that you're seeing here, though, being gathered, a lot of it is actually from kills, I do believe. This is only a grade 11 gem. It's not very powerful at all. Let's upgrade that. Huh. Okay. Now you'll have to remember that my mana farm is giving quite a lot of mana quite early, simply because, let's upgrade these, because I have a very high wizard level with my game. And because of that, I've got all of the settings cranked up for the orange gem and the trap multipliers and all of that, and it's all working towards me getting a lot of mana. But I did find that, let me pause this, I did find that in the much, much lower levels before completing the game, a mana farm, it doesn't seem as though a mana farm is actually a viable option. It's incredibly expensive to set up in the first place, and unless you have the appropriate skills pretty much maxed out, you'll find that the money you gain is very little, and it's not worth your time and effort. You'd be better off just pumping more of your mana into making a big gem that can essentially fire on a whole bunch of monsters and kill them quickly, and just angering waves. That seems to be the best way to get mana until you have got to a certain point. Probably this mana farms I recommend for only people who have at the very least beaten all of the 169 levels in the game, to be honest. I'd be very surprised if you tried to implement a mana farm and you could do so fairly successfully at any stage in the game before that point. So yes, on the journey of completing and clocking the game, a mana farm doesn't seem as though it's a very good idea, but for those of us who like to stick around after that game and try and max out their score and all of their skill levels and so forth and play endurance on a lot of levels, a mana farm is actually necessary. It is imperative. You cannot do an endurance run, well, you can do an endurance run without a mana farm, but it makes life so much easier. Now, what I do to essentially make the best use of my mana farm, I will try and anger waves so all of the monsters that come out are very high on hit points and very high on armor. The reason why I want that is because, well, an effective mana farm, as you can see, it shoots more than one target. It shoots 15 targets at a time, pretty much every time, in this particular instance, and it gives me something like, I don't know, just over 50 mana per hit, so 50 times 15 targets, so every time this thing fires, and it fires very fast, every time it fires it gives me something in the order of 800, 900 mana. That's not too bad. Sounds alright. But what you want to do is you want to keep the gem inside your mana farm in your trap firing. You don't want it to be sitting idle like it is right now, doing nothing. When it's doing nothing, it's not firing on any enemies, you're not getting mana. So, what do you do to remedy that? Well, you get a whole bunch of gems. Probably this one for me. Nope. Let's try this one. Yeah, that'll do. And anger waves. Now, it does take a little bit of trial and error to get a hold of how many times and how much you should anger waves. It depends on what level you're at. It depends on what you can handle. What you want to do is you want to anger waves so you are getting a constant stream of monsters, but you are not overwhelming this particular gem. At the end of the day, to make a mana farm most effective, what you need to do is you need to keep on upgrading this. You need to pour as much of the mana that you get as you can into upgrading your mana pool. So keep on buying this and keep on pumping all of your money into upgrading all of these gems, and not just this one. You have to remember the gems in the amplifiers, they need to be upgraded too. So what am I doing right now? Well, I'm seeing that this gem is not handling these very well, so at the moment it's probably in my best interests to do this. Upgrade those, upgrade these 3 times maybe. There we go. Now it's handling them much better. So I know that my main gem is firing on all of the monsters and it's doing quite well. Maybe a little bit too well, to be honest. Where's that shadow? That shadow's coming. I'll clean that up quickly. Here we go. Yep. Didn't have to, look at that. One shot kill. I like it. And yeah, once you've got a good amount of monsters going, let's see, let's try this one. There we go. 7, let's give them up to 1.2 million. Trying to find a happy medium for how much this gem can handle. It's a bit of trial and error. You do get used to it once you get to a certain level. You'll kind of know how much you can pour into it. If it seems like you're overwhelming the monsters a little bit too much, then you always just send a couple more waves quickly to just bolster the numbers. But this is perfect. Look at this. Down here we have a whole bunch of monsters, and this gem is constantly firing, and I'm constantly getting more mana. Now I've got a lot of mana. What do? I upgrade the gem and the surrounding gems. Why not? It all helps. Now if you look at the mana I'm gaining, it's much faster. Well, having said that, we could do with a lot more. Don't forget, keep on upgrading your extend mana pool. If you keep doing that, then your maximum will go up and you'll be able to upgrade these more. It takes a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of playing around, trying to get used to it, trying to figure out what you want. I go for the orange and lime because it does the job of giving me the most amount of mana without damaging too much. Some people try and mix up different colors. Some people try and throw in yellow as well just to hit the monsters a little bit more. I'm not convinced that it's necessary. Instead, I just leave all of the damage, or the bulk of the damage, to be done for my main gem. But this is a mana farm, and look at this. The only thing that's damaging the monsters coming from this area is the gem in my mana farm, and look at that. That is almost perfect. It is killing them just after they walk over it. That is perfect. You can't get much better than that. There we go. I'm gonna make sure this thing keeps on upgrading itself. There we go. You can do that. You can, if you're on an Apple computer, hold down Command and click on this, left click on this, and it will stay toggled to a point where if your mana pool goes to its maximum, it will automatically trigger this once. That's why it's going like that all the time. I'm not doing anything. I'm not touching anything. I think for Windows machines and maybe Linux machines as well, instead of using the command key, because it doesn't exist, I think you use the control key or option key. Pretty sure it's control key, the one on the very far bottom left side. But anyways, this is a basic mana farm. How to do it: I choose lime and orange, and after playing around a lot with the amounts and so forth, I found that the best mix was a half-half mix for the gem that's going to be inside the trap. Just put these together and keep on upgrading them and you'll be laughing. Except, having said that, I do find that it's, unfortunately, with the limitations of Flash, you will find that the game, anyone who's played Gemcraft, any of the versions, especially this version and Chapter 0, it's a bit of a lag fest. You get lots of monsters on the battlefield, and before you know it, it's doing this. It's lagging. You're going to have to look at other tabs just to get the game to roll faster. It sucks, but it's the way it is. And one way to combat this from becoming too bad to manage is to simply keep an eye on the number of targets that your gem in your trap is attacking. If you do that, I find that an optimum number is around about 100% chance to hit around 800 to 1,000 targets at a time. When it comes to leveling this gem grade up from 15 all the way up to in the high 20s and the low 30s, trying to keep it attacking around just under 1,000 targets for my particular PC is just right. It doesn't slow down the game incredibly ridiculously. It's still playable, and you will still be able to reach your goal of eventually getting this particular gem up to grade 31 or 32, which can easily handle a constant summoning of all of the remaining waves. That is the goal for mana farms. Anyways, I'll leave it there. I've rabbled on for too much. I hope I've given you some basic insight into how to set up a mana farm, and by all means have fun trying to implement them, and let me know if you have any troubles. I'll be more than happy to try and answer any questions that you leave on this video on YouTube. By all means, rate, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Thumbs up, thumb down. Yeah, just comment, guys. Honestly, comment. I'm one of those YouTubers that will actually reply to comments. No worries about that. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon, probably for, I don't know, what else can I do as far as Gemcraft Labyrinth is concerned. I've gone over quite a lot of things. I've gone over the skills, I've gone over the amulets, each gem type. I might do a video later on for Gemcraft Labyrinth just to show what it's like and show the differences. I might try and do a couple of videos, one on the original Gemcraft and one on Gemcraft Chapter 0, just to show where it came from and how the game's evolved and how the developer seems to be going in direction for improving the series. It's a good series, and like you, I'm definitely waiting for the very next game, Chapter 2, Chasing Shadows, I think. Don't know when it's coming out, but as soon as I know, I will let you know. Anyways, that's enough for me. Peace out.